Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. And on my continuing series on making the move from Windows 10 to Linux, today I'm going to talk about some real simple and basic image editors that are available in Linux. Now, before I go any further, if you have not seen my original video on how you can install VirtualBox on your machine, on your Windows machine, or even Mac, and then install Linux Mint inside that virtual machine, be sure to check it out in the description below. I will leave the link below and you could check it out there. Now, whenever we think about image editing on Linux, typically, I think for most people who are even familiar with Linux, they're going to think about three main programs. The first one is GIMP, and GIMP, it is available on every platform, and it is, in my opinion, the best image editing software available, especially in the software world. Now, if you are a person who uses Adobe products, I don't think, to be realistic, GIMP is as good as an Adobe product. But then again, once again, this is an open source, freely available software. I don't think there's anything better. Now, another one that a lot of people use is Inkscape. And these are primarily for people who are designers, and this is specifically for vector graphics. And then the final one that people also think about is Krita. It's also a design and image manipulation tool. And this is actually, if you have the talent, this is an awesome tool. Okay, and let me show you how they look like down here. So if you haven't seen it, there's GIMP. If you're familiar with Photoshop, very familiar and very similar in terms of the interface. And then here we have Inkscape. So if you are using an Adobe product, or if I remember correctly, even Illustrator, this is in the vector graphics world, so you should be familiar with this if you are actually using Inkscape. And then finally, Krita. I wish I was actually a graphic designer or an artist, because I would love to, like in this case, I would love to create my own manga. This has a manga template. That would be so awesome. But I definitely don't have those types of skills. But every single one of these software, all three of them, they are primarily, I would say, definitely meant for more people who are more skilled using graphics and doing illustrations and so forth. They're not really meant for a general user who just wants to take photos from their phone and then, just go ahead and make some nice photos, basically nice collages, or maybe touch up a few things or change the size of the pictures. I think for the majority of people, they're not going to be using tools on this level. They just want really simple image editing tools. And that's actually what I'm going to focus on today. So I'm not really going to focus on those three particular programs. However, all three of those programs, they are all open source. So if you do want to donate to them, I highly recommend you do. And they're all free. Now, in Linux Mint, whenever you do install it, you do get some default image editing programs. The first being GIMP. The second one is actually not really an image editing program, but it is the default image viewer. And the other one is Gthumb, which is definitely an image editing tool. And I'm going to go through those first, or not GIMP, but I'm going to be going through the two basic ones. And then I'm going to show you some of the other options that are available if you just want to do some very simple image editing. Okay, so the default one is actually image viewer. So whenever you double click on a picture, Linux Mint will automatically use the default program image viewer. Now, in this particular program, it's really not made to do much. Okay, it's just basically allows you just to see your pictures. That's about it. It's really not an image editing tool at all. But it's very quick and just very basic, okay? Now, if you actually do want to do some actual image manipulation, the one that's already installed, Gthumb, and in the new version of Linux Mint 18, I don't think it's called Gthumb anymore. But this is, in my opinion, an excellent image editing tool. Very easy to use. So like, for example, if I clicked on this picture, it tells you a lot of the properties, even what camera is taken from. But if I open it up, you get all these other features, okay? So you could change the contrast. Well, it actually automatically adjusts it. You could change the colors here. You could also do things such as make it grayscale. you know. You could also do something really creepy like that. Yeah, if you don't like clowns, it's probably a little scary. So you could do a lot of things here. You know, you could rotate it, flip it, resize it, remove red eye. So in my opinion, for the majority of people who just want to do really quick and simple image editing, I think Gthumb is an excellent program that's built in, extremely easy to use. Okay, so I'm definitely not going to save that. But I think this alone will serve a lot of people. And like I said, the interface is really easy to use. And you could quickly scroll through all your pictures quickly from here. And I like the fact that how everything's available right here, you know, so it's not confusing to use at all. But it does also have a lot of powerful features. So I think, me personally, this one alone would serve a lot of people. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. Now, beyond this, you might want to do some other things to pictures that are, once again, still basic, but they offer you a little more creativity. So one of the things that I think a lot of people like to do is create like collages of pictures and photos. And the one that I'm going to recommend is actually available in the software manager. So all these programs that I'm going to talk about afterwards, you can actually go into the software manager and install it. Okay, so how you do that is just go to menu, administration, and then you open up your software manager. Okay, and when you open up your software manager, just go to the graphics categories, and there are a whole bunch of programs available. It's over, at least at this point, 1,188 programs related to graphics, and 99% of them are all free. Actually, they should all be free if it's through this software manager, if I remember correctly. And there's so many powerful programs here. And you could also narrow it down by just going to either drawing, or you could actually go to photography as well. And the one that I'm going to be talking about first is a very simple image editing program. And let me see if it's under here. It's actually called Photo Wall. Oh, maybe it's not there, but it should be here, or you could just type it in. There it is. It's Photo Wall. Okay, I've already installed it, but I just wanted to show you where it's at. So, and what it is, it's really a very simple program to create collages, okay, and compositions. So let me show you how this works. And I think a lot of people would like to use this. You know, it's really cool. Now, if you do use a Google tool called Picasso, I'm sorry, it's also available here. I don't use it myself, but it's available if you need it. So let's go ahead and open that up. I'll go to graphics, and it's right there, Photo Wall. So what I like about this, once again, it's very easy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and create one. And you have a couple of options here. Okay, you could either go ahead and add a picture, which is what you're going to do. You could add text. There's a word cloud feature that I don't think most people would use. And you already have an existing photo wall program or file. You could also open up here. And you could also search for images right from the web, you know, either through Google or Flickr, which is great that they give you that option right there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add that doll picture again. So see, right away, it has a little frame around it. And you could actually manipulate it very easily. Okay, and so this is how it's going to look like on this particular background, which is a default background right now. So if you click on the background, now you have options to change the background, or they call it the actual canvas. Okay, so here I could actually, you know, change how this background looks. Okay, I could put no background, okay, which would be a transparent. Okay, I could make it black, you know, white, you know, or the default is a gradient. And then you could also change the aspect ratio as well. And also at the same time, you could make it for different things. Like, for example, you could also make a CD cover out of it, you know, for people who still watch CDs, which is really cool. So you could make your own CD cover, or even your own DVD cover as well, which is really cool. And then also, you could change the size. Okay, unfortunately, it is in centimeters and inches, but it's nice that they give you that feature right there. So I'm just going to do screen. And let me add another picture so you could kind of see how it looks like as a collage. So it defaults to this design, the frame, but you can actually change it as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and change it. Okay, so here, if you click on the image, you could either go up down here to this wrench right here, okay, or you could go to the same wrench. Actually, it's right here. I'm sorry, that the same wrench features that are here, like you could put the image either the front, back, or behind. You could do it right here as well, okay. And you could also make this picture the actual background picture. Let me show you. So if I do this to background, see, now it's the background picture, which looks really, really nice. So I'm gonna add a different picture here. So let's go ahead and let's add this girl. Yeah, she's not too happy, but neither is the clown. So let me show you some other options. When you click on this little gear, you could also change the frame that's around here. So right now, this is the default green frame. You could have no frame, okay? You could have a gradient frame, which is that. And you could also make it a heart, see, which is really cool. And you could just mess around with it. There isn't too many options in terms of the type of frames you have, but there's also different effects as well. So, like I said, this is really meant to be a very simple tool for you to use. And let's keep that one. I want to make her a little happy. And let me show you how this stacking works. Okay, so right now this is the image that's in the front. So I wanted this image to be in front of this one, so I could put this one to the back or make it lower. See, now it's behind that one. So as you can see, very, very easy to use. And you could also export this file with many different image types, PNG, JPEG, and so forth. Okay, and let me close this and cancel it. And you can also adjust other options here, but you could also save it as a photo wall file as well in case you wanted to go back and work on it. So I think this tool, the photo wall tool, and then along with this graphics, this G-thumb default, I really think that will work for the majority of people out there who are coming from Windows and they are just really looking for a very simple image editing tools. Okay, now there are other ones out there, as I showed you through the software manager. There's hundreds and thousands of them actually, but in terms of related just to drawing photography, there's like over 50 of them. Is that correct? Almost 50. And there's also the publishing ones as well. And there's just so many options available in Linux when it comes to image editing, and I have stated before on previous videos that if you are really heavily in the Adobe or the Apple world in terms of the type of image editing products that you have, you're probably not a basic user to begin with. However, as I stated, there are a lot of real professional grade tools available in Linux as well for people who do want to spend the time to learn. Now, if you have kids, there is also a software program available for the young ones. So if you go to your software manager, you can look it up as well. But if you go to drawing, there's one called Tux Paint, and this is made for kids. I think it's a really cool program, especially if your kids are a little creative. So once you install it, it'll be under education. Unlike I thought it would be under graphics, but they actually put it under education. So when you open it up, and the thing with Tux Paint, it has music or sounds right when you open it up. So it's really, really meant for kids. It's very easy. So anytime the kids do something, it has sound on it. So it's perfect for kids, I would say. And so you could change different things right here. You could also the kids could stamp different objects, characters on there. They could also put different shapes, like let's make this octagon. They could increase it, decrease it. They could even change the colors. There are so many options here for kids, and I think it's a really fun tool. And it's actually, in my opinion, it's actually quite, powerful for being a tool made for kids. There are a lot of options here. So if your child is creative or you want to actually, help foster their creativity, Tux Paint is a wonderful tool for that. And once again, it's open source. It is free. So that's another big bonus of using these tools. And you don't have to, really go out and buy it, which is great, which is great. So that's basically it for this particular episode for basic image editors within Linux. If you had any other image editors that you use and that you like, be sure to leave them in the description below. And as always, if you do like these videos and you found value in them, be sure to leave a like, especially subscribe. And don't forget, I am on Snapchat at Geek Outdoors. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.